QuadQuiz!
Brought to you by Math with Sir Lester. There are 3 questions for this video, and you are to answer them in 15 seconds each. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1. Let's have x squared plus 3x equals 0. Which coefficient is not present in this equation? The answer is the constant or coefficient c. Now, aside from the quadratic formula, which of these 3 methods is easiest to be used in solving the roots of the given equation? The answer is by factoring. And with this, what are the roots of the given quadratic equation? Time is up. The roots are 0 and negative 3. Did you get 3 over 3? If not, please continue viewing this video. Solving quadratic equations means solving for the value of x, which could satisfy the given equation. Now, we have a quadratic formula for that, but we also have 3 different methods. And these 3 different methods are with specific conditions on what to use or when to use them, depending on the given coefficients. So let's start with identifying the correct coefficients here. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, and c is not around, that is actually 0. Now that we are sure of these coefficients, we have here 0 as our constant or c coefficient. Now, among those 3 different methods, aside from the quadratic formula, there is a specific method that we could easily use if c is equal to 0, and that is by factoring. Okay, this is the hint. C is equal to 0 for you to use factoring. By the way, we could also use factoring even if c is not equal to 0, okay? And if a, b are also given. But it's easier for us to really use factoring if c is equal to 0, because this is what will happen. Our equation is x squared plus 3x is equal to 0. The factoring method that we are going to do here is the common monomial factoring. We are going to factor out the common or the greatest common factor for both terms. Here, the greatest common factor is x. And when we factor that, the first term becomes x only, and the second term becomes 3. Okay? So this is now the factor for x squared plus 3x. We took out the common factor x, and we have the binomial x plus 3. Now, we are going to look for the value of x which could satisfy this equation, meaning their product is 0. We have a property for that, the zero factor property or the zero product property, which tells us that this is only true, that this is equal to 0 if one factor or both of them are equal to 0. Meaning, if the first factor is 0 and the second factor is also 0. This again the zero factor or the zero product property, and we are going to solve them independently. We already have this value for x, and that's our first root. X sub 1 is equal to 0, because once you substitute 0 here, even if this has a value aside from 0, multiply to 0, that's the it will result to 0, meaning this is correct. For the second, you are going to transpose it here or move it here, so x is equal to -3, and this is your second root. When we substitute negative 3 here, yes, it's negative 3, but for the binomial, will become 0, and everything else will become 0 under multiplication. So these are the roots after we have done factoring method. Again, factoring method is easiest to use first and foremost if C coefficient is not around. But we can still use factoring for separate concerns probably in the next videos. So these are the discussions for the answers in this QuadQuiz. Subscribe now